All right, Rick, before we get into you guys, what about that win last night for Kim and the ladies?
Man, I tell you what, my wife was so excited. She was in another room from me because I was watching that and obviously watching what I need to do for this weekend. And she kept calling me. She said, "Oh, what's going on here?" And I'm like, "Would you come in here and we can talk about it?" You know. But it's so exciting because they've been so close to some of those games, and just a great win over obviously a great program, and the rivalry there with UConn and Tennessee has been special. But to keep it going, you need to win, and I think they have beaten us 4 times in a row. But just a great win for Lady Vols and for us, and really happy for her. And I loved her comment at the end of the game that she just wanted to get home and see her baby boy, and so I'm sure that was a special way to cap off a great win for her.
What stands out about Oklahoma?
Well, again, a lot of respect for Porter Moses. When he was at Loyola, they knocked us out of the NCAA tournament, but I've known Porter and certainly about him, and he's done a great job everywhere he's been. And you go back, out of nowhere early in the year, they go to Battle of Atlantis against a great field there, come out as champions of that tournament. And we all know once you get into this league, every night can be just a different battle. But his teams will they guard. They do some different things. They'll show you some pressure in the backcourt, change their ball screen coverage at times, and but they work hard. I'm sure they'll play personnel like everyone does. But just a lot of respect for him and his team, and again for this league. They're like us. Every time you turn around, you're playing against a ranked team, and they've been right there all year with everybody. And no doubt in my mind, they're as competitive as anybody that will play this year.
What led to Jemiah's lack of minutes in the second half the other night?
Just the fact that I thought that group got going. They got going, and Jordan and kept the floor spread, and just that's what was working. That's what we stayed with.
What do you guys need to do to get off to better starts offensively?
Well, I told her guys. I think we've done a good job. Following our game plan from a defensive standpoint, but all that we talked about from an offensive standpoint, game plan, we didn't do any of it. It was there for us, but we didn't for whatever reason. And again, when it doesn't work, you can look at your opponent knowing that they might have something to do with it or have a lot to do with it. But the fact that we looked at it at halftime, it was there. We just didn't take advantage of it, and they would have adjusted obviously, but I think it's the focus in terms of on both ends being ready. And we talked about where we wanted certain guys after missed baskets, and we didn't get them there. And second half, we were much more together in terms of execution.
What makes Jeremiah Fears so good for Oklahoma?
Well, he's good size, sees the floor well, and again, I look at the coaching staff. They've done a really good job putting him in positions he needs to be in to be effective.
Igor's obviously played really well against the last 2 games, Kentucky and the other night, and consistency has been his big thing. What do you feel is key for him to find that consistency?
Just focus. I think it's understanding. He plays with obviously I think a high motor, but I think that what it gets about is can you focus for the 2.5, 3 hours you're out there. But I think it starts long before that. I think it started way back in the summer, and I talked about that with our team yesterday. Being at a high level is really hard to do. Very few people can do it. That's why there's very few guys that have long, outstanding careers at the highest level. You can talk about I think most coaches would say they like to have a guy with a high motor, which to me translates to a competitive spirit. But to do that at the highest level is really, really, really hard. And it's something that has to be worked on every day. Every time you go out on the practice court, you got to be able to say, I've got to go right now. I'm going to win it or lose it right here. And it's a habit that you try to form, which is really hard to form. And then when the lights come on, you've got to be ready to go, knowing that the guy on the other side wants it just as badly as you do. And let's see whose habits win out right now.
Anything else?
How tough is it to play 4 out of the next 5 on the road?
Yeah. I don't think about it. I just think about the next one, and I couldn't even tell you who the 4 or the 5 are. I know I wouldn't have known the next one, except I just did a TV show with Bob, and he told me, and I said, we can talk about what you wanna talk about, but our mindset has to be on Oklahoma right now, and that's how you approach it.
Has Igor's play taken any pressure off Chaz in the past couple of games?
I think in Igor plays well, I think it takes pressure off everybody. I don't think it's just, him. I think that's why we need consistency out of D Stone. We need that from him. We need to know what we're gonna get there, cause, you know, Igor's hopefully can continue to build in what he does, and, but we need, D Stone to do what we know he's capable of consistently well, and, and those guys, and Kate, I think, and really Felix, I think when they're playing well, doing what we need to do, I think it takes pressure off all the perimeter players.
What changes offensively when Zakai's off ball and Jordan Gainey is at point?
Well, I think this guy, that was what he naturally was when he got here, and I think that, I thought Zakai was, I knew he was good during the game, but after watching the game, I thought he played one of his best games of the year in terms of managing the game for us and getting us settled in and doing what we needed to do. I mean, he was one of those guys at the start of the game I thought was locked in, but waiting to do what he needed to do, but his teammates weren't doing what they needed to do, but I thought he stayed poised and confident, and when we really got going, he made some just terrific passes, but really controlled the flow for us, and but we like him off the ball, you know, when he gets, because we think that, you know, those inside out threes for him are when he's really at his best, where he can shoot it or drive the ball from the triple threat position.
What do you remember most from that Loyola game?
What?
What do you remember most from that Loyola game?
An
against
uncontested
Oregon?
shot at the elbow. Bone, that's what I remember. You know, they got the elbow jumper, we didn't contest it.
Anything else?
You have a favorite Lady Vols player?
Do what?
You have a favorite Lady Vols player?
You talking about all time?
No, this season, but all time too, yeah.
Well, my all time was Candace Parker. I mean, she and I were at the John Wooden Award back when she won it, and we were at the head table, and it was a 4-hour banquet. And she was sitting beside me, and we hadn't known each other, and just out of the blue, I started playing hangman with her, and we started doing the box game, and we literally did that for 4 hours, you know, and I think I won most of them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Thanks, Rick.